what are the solutions of the quadratic equation? And so we're going to solve by factoring x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Find the factors of 6, which are 6 and 1, 2 and 3. Since the middle term is negative, then we have negative 2 minus 3, which gives us negative 5. Because negative 2 times negative 3 gives you 6, and negative 2 minus 3 gives you negative 5. So you have x minus 2, x minus 3 equals 0. Then you let each binomial equal 0. And now to solve for x, you add 2 to both sides. You have x equals 2. And on the right side, you have x minus 3 equals 0, so it's x equals 3. These are called solutions, and they're also called zeros. Solving a quadratic equation with tables, what are the solutions of the quadratic equation? And we have 5x squared plus 30x plus 14 equals 2 minus 2x. You notice here they said to rewrite in standard form. So if you have a 2, you're going to subtract 2. That's how we got 12. And if you have negative 2x, you're going to add 2x. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and type it into the calculator. And I'm going to go ahead and type in 5x squared plus 32x plus 12. And we want to use a table feature. Well, let me go ahead and graph. Let me press enter. Press enter. So there's our quadratic, but I want to use a table feature. So I went ahead and split the table. And remember that we want to find we want to locate when y is equal to 0. And we notice that the first one is at negative 6, 0. And then the second one, they said that we have to change the interval. Now, I think the graph can determine the zeros. So let me show you how we can do it graphically to find the zeros. To go to analyze graph, 0, this part, and then lower bounding. Notice there is the other 0. We have negative 0.4 comma 0. Now you can also find this 0 right here. Go to menu, analyze graph, 0, and there's our other 0. We have negative 6, 0, and negative 0.4, 0. So those are our two zeros are the solutions. Problem 3, what are the solutions of the quadratic equation? 2x squared plus 7x equals 15. So what we want to do is we want to rewrite it in standard form. We subtract 15 from both sides. Now, like I told you earlier, you can find the zeros by analyzing the graph here. So you go to menu, analyze graph, and then 0, upper bound, lower bound. So one of the zeros is 1.5, 1.5 comma 0. And then, of course, the other 0 occurs at negative 5 comma 0. So those are the solutions to our equation. Using quadratic equation. From the time that Mark Twain wrote The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County in 1865, frog jumping competitions have been growing in popularity. The graph shows a function modeling the height of one's frog's jump, where x is a distance in feet from the jump start. The height of the jump is 0 at the start and at the end of the jump. So here's where they take off. At some point, it reaches its highest point, and then it lands. So in this case, we said the frog jumped about 20.34 feet. So here is the distance, And I think what they want to know is how high did it jump. So we're going to figure that out. What we can do is we can adjust the window. We can adjust the window settings. I would say for X max, I'm going to say 40. And let's see how that affects. Now, the X is going to tell us how many feet it jumped. Okay, and so we want to figure out what's the highest point. So once again, we want to find the highest point. So we're going to go Analyze Graph. We're not going to say minimum. We're going to say maximum since the graph is opening downwards. So here is the lower bound. Here is the upper bound. So it says here that it reaches its highest point at 10.1 feet. After traveling 10 feet, it reached its highest point of 3 feet. So it did travel a total of 20.34 feet, and I can figure that out by finding the 0. So I'm going to go to Menu, and I'm going to find the 0. And here's a 0. It traveled 20.34 feet, but after traveling 10 feet, it reached its highest point of 3 feet. So that answers the question.